Peace, peace. Hello, everybody. I'm back again, the Wellness Guru. It's been a while since I seen y'all. Soul searching and working. Mm, Sipping on these good greens. If you ain't eating your greens every day, you slipping, man. Got my mango, my kale, my energy booster, a little bit of frozen yogurt. Just give it a little sweet taste. Anybody know me know I love mangoes. Can't go wrong. It's been a while since y'all seen me. I just had a 25th birthday. I wanted to switch it up, do something different. Y'all probably can't see, but I dyed my hair brown. Like I said, going into 2020, new person, new visions, new goals, new intentions, just switching it all up. Got a new spot to record at, a new little park I found. I'm happy. I'm nice in a nice little environment. I don't know if y'all can hear the water running. Nice little waterfall, green lake, trees, gentle breeze sweeping my skin. I can't complain. Beautiful. I love being in nature, man. We reconnect. It's Saturday. I'm off. I ain't got nothing to do. Go home, meal prep, clean. Can't complain. Easy breezy. But today I'm gonna be telling y'all a little story. I'm actually doing a two-part video. I'm gonna be doing a story time about the traumas I dealt with, and then I'm gonna be doing the second video on how to deal with those past traumas. It's gonna be a little sad. I'm gonna try not to make it too long. I'm gonna try to get straight to the point, but I also wanna include those key pointers and those key events so y'all can see how I got where I am today and how I was able to heal and overcome those past traumas. So yeah, let's get right to it. So anybody that's had any type of PTSD or been through a series or any type of traumatic events, you know that they could play in your head kind of like a movie. They'll continue to play over and over, and sometimes you could relive them and have flashbacks. And it could be very disturbing depending on what you're going through or what you have gone through in the past. The weird part is about these traumatic events is that not only can you see them from first person point of view, but you can also see them from a third person point of view. So you can see them as if you're going through it, then you see yourself as if you're watching yourself, if that makes sense. It's always been a weird part for me. And the first memories I get of trauma go all the way back to my early childhood. Started at the age of about 5, when I can remember my dad actually leaving me. It was very traumatic, The trauma wasn't really him leaving me, it really was afterwards, and that was my only image of me seeing him. Him driving off in a car on me, and that continued to play throughout my head for a very long time. My mom told me a lot of things about him that made me actually resent him growing up. It made me have a lot of hate and anger in my heart towards this man that I didn't even know, but I had one memory of him, and the only memory I had of him was him leaving me. So that had a lot to do with me having a male influence growing up, because I felt like I didn't have any. A lot of kids always used to pick on me in school, and I couldn't take but so much advice from my mom, because it really takes a village to raise a child, but I feel like you really need that male influence in your life, because that has a big part to do with it. I don't believe a woman by herself, women do it. I don't believe a woman by herself should raise a child. You understand? So 3 years later, I was about 8 years old. I remember my mom got arrested, and during that time I was back and forth bouncing between my mom's house and my grandma's house and my mom's house. My grandma didn't really like us, me at the time, didn't really like me living there, because she was living in the apartments. Anybody that lived in any Section 8 or low-income apartments know it's a lot that goes on there. So my grandma didn't really like me there, but anyways, my mom ended up getting arrested, and I was staying with my grandma for a little bit, and DHS was very active in my life, a lot actually. It was a lot, and around that time, this is when I got put on ADHD and depression medication. But the problem was, I don't think I needed that medication. I think I just needed someone to connect with, to tell these traumatic things I was going through. But I never did, I just kept silent, and pressure just began to build up like when you shake up a soda. so I never really talked to nobody. Um, the age of so between 9 and like 11, still was a lot of back and forth between mom and grandma. A lot of back and forth DHS in and all my life. At the age of 10 or 11, my mom had got booked again. So I was back with my grandma again for a little bit. Yeah, I was back with her. A little bit. It was pretty stable. My grandma took care of me a big part of my life. At the age of 12, I believe my mom had got out. She had a 6th grade graduation party for me. It was a great party. I loved it. Elementary school was okay. I had a rough childhood, but for the most part, it was all right. You know, I have no complaints. I stayed with a uniform. I stayed eating, going to school well fed. I had no complaints. Yeah, my mom had a 6th grade graduation party for me. At the party, I ended up getting poisoned. That doctor actually told me if I would have drunk another ounce of this concoction, I would have died. So the day before, my mom had a party in the park, and she made some type of pasta. I ended up eating some of it. But I didn't get sick, because I think after she brought the pasta home was when somebody had put like nail polish removal on the pasta. But the next day, when I was taking my medication, I ended up taking my medication with water, which I thought was water, but in the bottle was actually alcohol, like rubbing alcohol, fingernail polish remover, and paint thinner. It was all mixed up in the bottle clear, so I didn't know. I ended up taking it. My stomach was hurting real bad. I remember drinking it. I instantly spit it out, told my mom something wasn't right. My stomach was hurting bad. Like I felt like I was going to get a surgery or something. That's how bad my stomach was hurting. So anyway, we went to the hospital. I was hospitalized for about 3 or 4 days, I believe. And when I got out, I was immediately put into foster care. That was hard for me, especially not knowing who poisoned me still to this day, because I had a lot of trust issues, but I'll get back to that. I went into foster care with this lady who I thought was going to be nice. For the first week, everything was nice, everything was beautiful. I was getting all types of big breakfasts. And then after that, she became a whole nother person with a whole nother agenda. Excuse me. I had some of the worst experiences in my life in foster care. This lady was really, like, she was mean. Like I can't even explain how mean she was. The things we had to do. Sometimes we only ate like once, twice a week. I would eat toilet paper and drink water just so I could feel the satisfaction to feel full, because she didn't want to feed us. If I ate in school, I wasn't allowed to eat at home. I would get beat. I had so much chores that I wouldn't even finish my chores in one day. Sometimes if I didn't finish my chores, I had to miss school. I missed like over 40 days of school. I was getting beat all the time. Sometimes we had to do humiliating things to get a meal. Like she made us walk on a leash, a dog leash, bark like a dog, and just do all types of things. Give us ultimatums like, oh, if you don't beat up your brother, you're not going to eat today. And all these things just kept going on and on and on. And I remember constantly thinking to myself, I didn't want to live anymore. I mean, it was terrible. We wasn't even allowed to go outside. I had to eat out the trash several occasions. The money I got from seeing my parents in the visits from DHS, I didn't get to keep that money. She took all the money I was getting. I just really didn't want to live anymore. I couldn't understand why it was happening to me. I thought God turned his back on me. I really didn't know what was going on anymore. But it will all come to an end. So I don't regret anything I went through. It would all come to an end. So at about the age of, 13, the 2 boys I was in the foster home with, they had a visit because one of their aunts had died. And they told everything that was going on. I ended up going to another foster lady's house, which is now my godmother. And she helped me get my mind right. She helped me go back home. And it was beautiful. If I wouldn't have met her, I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't have even got out the system. I could have been in jail or somewhere else. But if I wouldn't have met her, I don't know where I would have been. It still was hard trying to overcome a lot of that trauma, and it still is to this day. I see my little brother. He never really change, because the way you trust people and the way you see people is taken with a grain of salt. Especially when you go somewhere people are supposed to be taking care of you and looking out for the better nature of children and a child, but they just worried about the check, so they treat you any kind of way as if you're their property, like you're a slave. And that's how I was treated all the time, you know. So still hard. I'm still overcoming the trauma and learning to forgive, because that's the only way I'm going to extend to the next level in my life. So after that, after I got out of foster care, fast forward a few years down, when I was 17, I think I was a junior in high school, my house ended up burning down. One of the worst things that ever happened to me in my life, and it was mainly my fault. That was one of the most horrific things I ever been through in my life, was watching my own house burn down. It was even more upsetting because my grandma wasn't home. She came home and she was crying. She came home from church and the house was in flames. Everything was basically nothing, just rubble and debris. Those pictures played on for a long time. It took me over a year to almost forgive myself. So I never thought that I would be the one to cause such a horrific accident. So it took me a long time to deal with that. I have to forgive myself. It was hard to live with, even more hard to even tell my grandma that it was my fault. And it all happened because of me. And now we're gonna go down to 20. At age 20, I think I was around 19 or 20, one of those ages. I believe it was 19. So at 19, okay, cool. So I was the first one to go to college out of all my immediate family. So I go to college, had a good year, my first year, my freshman year. I go to college. I was supposed to get a ride home. I was more angry at what happened because I was supposed to get a ride home for one of my cousins instead of me getting the bus, because I had really big totes that couldn't fit on the bus. Instead of me getting a ride home, instead of me getting on the bus, I took the ride home. My cousin never came. He never called and told me he wasn't coming, so I was stuck up there. Thank God, if it wasn't for my cousin Lakia, if you're watching this, thank you, I love you so much. If it wasn't for her, I would have got stuck up there, because for a while I didn't know where I was going to go, because my cousin failed to keep his promise, so I was mad. I felt betrayed. I go to college, I can't even get a ride back home. So I'm like, okay, whatever. It is what it is. So fast forward now, well, anyway, so I can get you to the fast forward. I ended up, went back there, I took a year off, went back to college, decided it wasn't for me. Decided I wanted to be an entrepreneur, which is why I'm currently working on my brand and currently working on building my brand and building a business. So I just decided it wasn't for me. Decided to drop out. Had several jobs until I actually had to found my calling. The first year, 2017, went to school for massage therapy. I believe I was 22 years old. All within that first month, January 2017, one of my good friends I went to school with had got killed. My uncle also died, and that hit me the hardest. He was like my father figure growing up. He was like that figure. He stepped into that role. I ain't gonna say he was my father, but he stepped into that role. He told me a lot I knew about life and everything I needed to know. And it really hurt me when I lost him. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if I would finish school, but because all the conversations we had, I decided to myself and I made a promise that I would finish school. And my grandma had a stroke, and I was there when she had the stroke, so I felt like I was supposed to be there at that time she was having that stroke. All this happened within the first month of me going to school, and I thought to myself, maybe I'm not supposed to be here, but I felt like I wasn't supposed to quit. So I ended up finishing massage school, got my license and my certification, and I haven't looked back since. It's been a great ride, and I'm grateful for everything that happened. I probably left small little snippets out of the story out, but I'm grateful for everything that happened. I learned how to forgive. I learned how to be a better person. I think it made me to a man, all the things that I went through collectively. And I'm also blessed to see 25, because when I was going through all these things, especially when I was in foster care, I didn't want to live to see 20. I never thought I would even live to see 20. I wanted to die. But I'm extremely grateful, and I couldn't be more grateful for the people in my life and the experiences that made me the person I've become today. So I'm just in so much gratitude. I can't even explain it. But stay tuned. Please hit like, share, and subscribe if you like my story. I'm gonna be doing the second part of the story, so stay tuned. I love y'all. Peace.